All right, there we go. Happy Sunday, y'all. Boruto episode 200. We have Becoming a Student. They should have named this episode Becoming the Son because it's official now. Kawaki is officially Naruto's son after this episode. And one thing that I think the anime just fucking shut this shit down on was the relationship building between Kawaki and Naruto. Because I was starting to think about it, and it seems like to me, in my opinion, when it came to the manga, they were more focused on building a brotherhood between Boruto and Kawaki. So, of course, Naruto was there. There's still a respect from Kawaki and Naruto. But they really pumped this shit up with, like I said, the relationship between Naruto and Kawaki. And I noticed because they changed a few scenes, too. So when you get that scene at the very end with the card games and shit, they do the trade. I'll give you the 4th and you give me the 7th. In the manga, Sarada's looking over at Kawaki, and it's kind of like that look like, oh, okay, this nigga, what this motherfucker want? Does he want to be the Hokage too now all of a sudden? Like, it was that type of vibes. Because when I was reading the chapters, I was thinking, Sarada's starting to get a little butthurt. Like, the person she looks up to, the Hokage, wants to mentor Kawaki. Kawaki has asked to become his little protege, his student. So they were kind of building up that way. However, I'm starting to see a key thing between Sarada and Kawaki. Sarada loves the Hokage in general, like the actual position of the Hokage, whereas Kawaki more so has a fixation with Naruto, whereas Naruto is the Hokage. You know, Sarada wants to be a Hokage. Kawaki wants to be the Hokage Naruto. Forgive me, I'm saying that word too fucking much now. It's like, it don't even sound like a word at this point. But I noticed that because he low-key says some shit. He's like, look, man, I don't even know who this dude is. Speaking of Minato, he's like, I don't know who this nigga is. Hey, Naruto, let's just trade. And then Sarada cuts him off like, yo, you can't just say that guy. That's the Hokage. He's a 4th. And then he gives him the whole background, the whole history. And speaking of that, and I like what they're doing with Sarada, because as opposed to just making her like some jealous woman or whatever the fuck, some low-key making her a side character because now Kawaki is star. But like, as opposed to doing that, they're giving her a little training arc. So we have Sasuke, you know, teaching her the Chidori and whatnot. But I noticed like there's a little bit of dialogue between the two. And I totally had forgot that the Chidori belonged to Kakashi. I had totally forgot that shit because I've been seeing my nigga Sasuke do that shit so fucking often. I thought the shit was his. I had totally forgot that shit came from Kakashi. And when Sarada learns that, she's like, yo, what? The six Hokage, this is his jutsu? So she's like even more honored at this point to be learning the Chidori. Of course, she wanted to learn it because her dad did, but now it's like, oh, this is also something one of the Hokage did. And like you could see in the scene, like her eyes kind of opened up a little bit more. And she may not be getting traded by Naruto, but we seen Sasuke had to get that little fucking bird from Sai. He's going to go on his little mission, which leaves Kakashi. Kakashi has already had his one-on-one session with Boruto. It's time for Sarada to get that work, because she still has to learn the Chidori. She can't learn that shit on her own, bruh. And I also think I was thinking this too. I think with the genetics she has from her mother, her Chidori is going to be like on some other shit. Like her shit going to be like a Hulk punch with some electricity and shit. She going to be fucking niggas up with that shit. And I think that's really what I had with the whole Kawaki, Naruto, and I think that's pretty much what I had on that, because it's not too many points. This was one of the episodes where it made me think about more current chapters that have came out in the manga, and I was like starting to write down spoilers as notes, so I didn't want to, you know, do that type of shit. But there is one thing that I want to talk about for the time skip, and that's this thing that Kawaki he's starting to have like this little catchphrase, and he's always telling Boruto, like they're going back and forth, and at the moment where Kawaki says, I want to learn how to do shinobi type shit, you know, nigga, I want to learn that new jutsu. Boruto's like, yeah, but you're still not going to be able to beat me. The thing I'm looking to hear in the future, in the time skip, I want to see what kind of crazy situation does Kawaki hit Boruto with when he says, that's my line, Boruto. Because he's been saying that to him over and over, and they've been like facing each other. Like these have been in moments of like little, not necessarily fights, but like little, you know, brotherly type arguments, training sessions, competition. It's been a lot of competition, similar to like the whole Itachi flicking his brother in the head, flipping Sasuke in the head. This is kind of their thing. That's my line, Boruto. So that's something Kawaki has been saying throughout this arc. And it made me think about the time skip. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's gonna be a sad ass day when he has to say that to my nigga Boruto and they throwing them hands. That might be like the final fight type moment shit. And another thing, let's do this last point with Kawaki. Naruto says something interesting. And I don't know if this is more foreshadowing, because when teaching Kawaki about chakra, he's like saying it's about an emotional bond. It's about an emotional bond. And it makes me think, because in this, he's kind of like, I don't want to say in a rush to learn it, but he has like this habit where he keeps going back to his karma. He's not necessarily using the chakra. He's like, it's something like he keeps tossing aside. So I don't know if they're going to like do that type of thing. And one of the things that made me think, who is like, how many bonds does he have? Does he ever, is that bond meaning that it's going to break? Does he ever really fully believe in those bonds? And this episode alone pretty much let me know, like, this nigga loves fucking Naruto. But an interesting moment had happened where a flashback of Naruto saying the whole bond thing happened, but this time it was looking at Boruto. So it's kind of like they're insinuating that he has a love for Boruto as well, but I don't think they really showed it that much. They showed him like bickering, going back and forth, like behaving as if they were siblings, but I don't think they really had that full-on moment where they became brothers, aside from the point where they're like, yo, I got karma, you got karma, okay. Yeah, besides that, they haven't really done much in that aspect of creating the brotherhood. Now, the father-son relationship between Kawaki and Naruto, they knocking that shit the fuck out the park. But I want to see Boruto and Kawaki a little bit more. But I don't know if that's going to be happening, because we're going to be going through like these little training segments and whatnot. And that also brings me to Mitsuki. So we have Sarada learning a new jutsu. Boruto's trying to master his karma. Kawaki is trying to learn ninjutsu. Mitsuki gonna have to get something. Like, they gotta give my nigga Mitsuki something. Maybe get back in the mix with Orochimaru. Maybe lock Konohamaru. They try. First of all, Shikadai said the dumbest shit I've ever heard him say in this series. And he was like, hey, yo, we gonna need some security, dog. Let's go talk to Konohamaru. When this nigga said Konohamaru, and I know it's like a joke to talk a shit about Konohamaru, but I just feel like it's a universal understanding that this nigga trash. And it's not that he doesn't have potential. It's just like, come on, bro. We haven't been shown anything besides that Jugo fight, and that's about it. This nigga fell in love with some girl, I don't even know what the fuck her name was, because who gives a shit. But it made me think about Mitsuki needing to learn another jutsu, or just trying to get, because I don't want to say he's left behind, but it just feels like I still want to see my nigga do something. I want to see him either learn, fight, shut the shit down. One thing I also started to think about was, we seen Amato playing with the computers. He's going through all these little updates. He has a way where we seen with Deepa, where he could like look at their memories and shit to see who's like the traitor, whatnot, what the fuck were they thinking, this and that. It's similar to something that Orochimaru has been doing with Mitsuki. So when, like, just as these inner members have appointments with Amato, Mitsuki has appointments with Orochimaru. So I wonder if there's going to be like a roundabout way where Orochimaru figures out about, oh, there's this thing going on in the village. It's called karma. What the fuck? Let me start, because he hasn't really been around since he's figured out, like, someone took his Ashirama cell. He, made a bitch vanish, and then he vanished. Like, nigga, where you been at? So I'm interested in seeing if we get some more Mitsuki attention. I'm not opposed to more anime exclusive content, because I fuck with the shit. But yeah, and it's fucked up, because like I'm for sure thinking it's gonna be Kakashi who teaches Sarada the Chidori, because Sasuke, he got shit to do, bruh. So we got Kawaki officially becoming Naruto's child, his character development. Let's get into this. Oh yeah, I already told you. I don't know. I'm just gonna say this one more time, because I'm not too sure if I don't even know if I said it. I've been talking about these other niggas, but this episode was pretty much stacked. So every little plot point, and I like the construction of this. So every little side plot point that was being pretty much built up throughout this little series. Kara's been like a little bit MIA ever since Kawaki has entered the village. But Amato's been looking for a traitor. Delta entered the village throwing them hands. We've been waiting on Boro to come back so we could test this nigga. And it all just met. Everything met. Delta goes back to the Kara organization, says, oh, yo, there's another motherfucking curse, or not curse mark, but karma seal. Boruto has it. So now shit's popping off at the Kara organization spot. We got a test on Boro. Hasn't came back yet, but Boro's flipping out on these niggas talking about, yo, y'all don't fucking trust me. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat everybody's ass, and we could just start this whole Kara organization from scratch. But like in terms of what the manga was, it was dope to see because it was like a lot of little nuanced things. So like the way Delta comes back and it's like right in the middle of Boro's little test type shit, it just built up that little thing. Like it just connected like a puzzle piece where when the manga you kind of just see Delta coming back and she's walking, she's getting teased by Code and Boro. But just to know the reason why Boro was even in that room in the first place was dope because Code was on his like little side mission. Hey, we got to find out who these traitors are. You know, I like that shit. I like the layering of this episode. A lot was going on. And a lot gonna be going on in the very near future. I'm still excited. I'm still excited about these episodes and shit. I just wish I was coming in super fresh. Like I wish I had a little bit of amnesia. I wish there was like a selective amnesia. I wish we could do that type of shit. I would do that shit for right here. Let me see if I have any more points before. No, that's it. That's it. That's all I got for this episode. Cause like the rest of this other shit, it's on some like spoiler type shit. And that's one thing I will say about this series. Like, I know the manga is chapters ahead. We're events ahead of the anime. But the anime does this thing where you might have just read a chapter, but you see some shit in these early episodes where it's kind of like, it allows you to help predict things that happen beyond the, current chapters. Like, there's like, I don't even want to give you an example, but there's little things that are going on with certain characters, and I'm like, yo, I wonder. I can't even say shit, dog. I can't even say. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll make separate videos and I'll, label them spoiler warning type shit. Because there was a few times I was looking into this shit and I was like, yo, dog. I think we on to something. But I'm gonna end that there, dog. Happy Sunday. This was a dope episode. One of my favorites that I've seen in a minute. This makes up for me because I wasn't really fucking with the Delta fights. And I think there's been this narrative of people being... Like, I think people don't understand that Naruto was holding back, but I think that was obvious. It's obvious he was holding back. I just didn't like the quality of the fights, and I understand the budget thing. I wasn't entertained by those episodes. When Boro came in that part 2 episode, then I was like, okay, we got something. We hood. But like, as far as Delta, her voice acting, I fuck with. Her design, I fuck with. But as far as them hands, I'm not fucking with Delta in them hands, dog. I'm in that here. Peace. Take care. Happy Sunday. Shit, I'll see y'all niggas soon. Take care, nigga.